A 17-year-old girl confessed to murdering 22 people with an axe. And that's not even the most disturbing thing about Clementine Barnabet. Tonight we're uncovering the truth behind Louisiana's most twisted serial killer, and the religious cult that may have driven her to madness. February 24th, 1911. The Andrus family went to sleep as sharecroppers in rural Louisiana. They woke up dead. Alexander Andrus, 30 years old, his wife Mimi, 29, their young son Joachim, baby Agnes, not even a year old. Someone had crept into their one-room cabin and attacked them with an axe while they slept. The killer left no witnesses, no survivors, 4 lives taken, and a community paralyzed by terror. Sheriff Louis Lacoste needed a suspect fast. The locals were demanding answers. So when someone whispered that Raymond Barnabet, the Andrus family's neighbor, had come home in suspicious condition that night, Lacoste pounced. Raymond was a sharecropper, a drunk, a man known for beating his common-law wife Dina, but most importantly, he was convenient. His own children testified against him. 17-year-old Clementine Barnabet took the witness stand and swore her father had returned home that February night, soaked in damning evidence. Her testimony sealed Raymond's fate, death by hanging. But here's the thing about convenient solutions. They have a nasty habit of falling apart. November 26, 1911. Raymond Barnabet was locked in jail, awaiting his execution date, which made it rather difficult to explain how he'd just murdered another family. The Randall family. 6 people this time. Norbert and Azima Randall, their children Renee, Norbert Jr., and Agnes, their nephew Albert, all dead by morning. Their cabin turned into a scene of unspeakable horror. The killer had used the same axe, the same methodical precision, the same twisted signature of a family annihilator who struck while his victim slept. Sheriff Lacoste had a problem. His suspect was behind bars, but the murders hadn't stopped. Someone else was out there, stalking through the Louisiana darkness with an axe. Someone who knew exactly how to kill. But when the crowd gathered around the Randall house that morning, studying the carnage, one face stood out among the horrified onlookers. A young woman who worked as a housekeeper nearby. A woman who testified against her own father. Clementine Barnabet had come to see her handiwork, and that's when everything changed. The evidence was still fresh on Clementine's clothes when police found her. Her dress, her apron, her undergarments, all stained with unmistakable evidence. The same kind found throughout the Randall cabin just hours before. When confronted, Clementine didn't deny it. She didn't make excuses. She laughed. "I did it," she told Sheriff Lacoste. "I killed them all." But this wasn't a simple confession. This was something far more disturbing, because Clementine didn't just admit to the Randall murders. She confessed to the Andrus family too, the crime that had sent her own father to death row. She'd lied under oath, watched her father get sentenced to hang, let an innocent man rot in jail while she continued killing. But why? What could drive a 17-year-old girl to become Louisiana's most prolific serial killer? That's when Clementine revealed the truth that would haunt Louisiana for decades. "The church told me to do it," she said. This wasn't random violence. This was religious murder. According to Clementine, she belonged to a secret sect that demanded human sacrifice. The family she'd killed hadn't just been victims. They'd been offerings, punishments for those who disobeyed the church's twisted commandments. The media went insane. Headlines screamed about occult cults and voodoo rituals. Reporters descended on rural Louisiana like vultures, feeding a nation's hunger for sensational horror. But Clementine wasn't finished confessing. She claimed 11 total murders, maybe more, and she wasn't working alone. Police arrested her brother Zephyrin, her half-sister Pauline, even Reverend King Harrison from her church. The investigation spiraled into paranoid hysteria as authorities tried to map the scope of this supposed murder cult. Then, on January 19, 1912, while Clementine sat in jail, the axe murders continued. Marie Warner and her 3 children, their 3 children, the oldest just 9 years old, all found in their Crowley home, the scene arranged in a way that chilled investigators to the bone. The next night, another family, Felix and Mathilda Broussard, their 3 children, Margaret, Louis, and Alberta. 5 more lives taken, 5 more souls lost to whatever darkness was consuming Louisiana. But this time, the killer left a message. Scrawled on the cabin wall in dark, crude lettering, Human 5. Below it a twisted Bible verse. When he maketh inquisition for blood, he forgetteth not the cry of the humble. The killer was taunting them, turning scripture into justification for slaughter. And if Clementine was locked up, who was carrying out these ritual murders? The answer would shatter everything Louisiana thought it knew about the Church of Sacrifice. April 1912, Clementine Barnabet sat in her jail cell and made her final confession. 22 murders. Not 11. 22. But this time her story changed. No longer was she a reluctant follower taking orders from her church. Now she claimed to be the leader, the high priestess of a murder cult that spanned 3 Louisiana parishes. I am the angel of death, she told reporters. God speaks through me. The teenage girl who'd once seemed like a victim of religious manipulation now revealed herself as something far more terrifying, a charismatic killer who'd convinced others to help her hunt families through the night. During her trial, she swayed in her chair, laughed as she recounted the events, spoke about her victims like they were animals she'd slaughtered for a righteous cause. The courtroom watched in horrified fascination as this teenager casually discussed terrible acts. But here's what makes Clementine's story truly disturbing. The authorities never proved the Church of Sacrifice existed. No cult members were convicted. No organized conspiracy was uncovered. Reverend Harrison was released. Her siblings were freed. One by one, everyone connected to this supposed murder cult walked away. Which leaves us with 2 possibilities. Either Clementine was part of a murder cult so secretive that police never found evidence of it, or she invented the entire thing. Think about that for a moment. A 17-year-old girl may have created an elaborate fantasy about religious murder cults to justify her own psychopathic killing spree. She may have convinced herself that God wanted her to murder families with an axe. The murders stopped after Clementine's arrest. No more families found dead in their beds. No more biblical messages scrawled in dark lettering. Whatever darkness had consumed rural Louisiana died with her capture. But the questions remain. Was Clementine a cult leader or a disturbed teenager? A religious fanatic or a master manipulator? A victim of indoctrination or Louisiana's most cunning serial killer? We'll never know for certain. Clementine took her secrets to the grave, leaving behind only the dark legacy of 22 unsolved cases and the haunting possibility that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we create in our own minds. Some say evil wears 1,000 faces, but sometimes it wears the face of a teenage girl who convinced herself that God wanted her to kill. Drop a comment telling me which historical serial killer you want me to cover next. And if this is your first time here, you know what to do. Next week, we're diving into the Axeman of New Orleans, and trust me, that story makes Clementine look tame.